Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to today's deck profile. I decided to play Skytraker and I went undefeated at YCS Pasadena's VIP qualifiers. So I'm really excited to show off this list because I kind of have a different take on Skytraker compared to like what's normally played. Obviously, a lot of like, I think it's more like ratios. Like obviously you play the engage, obviously you play like, you know, like a burner or something like that. But I wanted to show you guys basically like kind of like my thought process and like the testing that I've been doing with Skytraker and how I built the deck that I think it's very different to what I've been seeing online or like the topping deck lists. The other thing is winning this tournament is super nice. I'm actually really excited, and it's a good time to bring up that I'm gonna get a 2-round bye at YCS Pasadena now because of this. So which is super poggers, which means I'll have a lot more time during the first few rounds. If you guys want to come up, say hi, maybe take some pictures or something, or feel free to chat. Like I'll just be walking around the venue just vibing, you know, because 2-round buys are kind of OP. But anyways, we're gonna get right into this profile, but I guess I'll just shout out, I guess, Hani and Nesh, because I've tested them with like the most, I guess, when I was building this deck. And also like obviously my team, Luxury Gaming, and you know, everyone else like Bozos. You guys know who you guys are. So but anyways, we're gonna get right into it. So I played 3 Ray. That's pretty standard, don't need to explain it. But then I played 3 rows. So this is not standard. This is not standard. A lot of people play 1 rows, 2 rows, but I play 3. I think like when I was testing, every game I lose is when I don't draw Ray. Bro, if I don't draw Ray or Rose, I lose. Like the game just ends. Like it's that simple. It's not that hard to understand. So I literally max out these cards, and also like there's a lot of like really cool like technical play that you can do with like Rose that I think is super like not looked into. So what I mean by this is that like, for example, like I was playing against like you know, Tenyi Sword Soul at the tournament. I remember like he had a Draco Berserker with a Monk, and I went like normal Ray, made Hayate, attack into the Monk, deal 500 damage calc, use the effect of Hayate, send Rose, and then trigger Rose because I outed his Monk, bring Rose, and then negate his I negated his Berserker. I negated his Berserker. And the reason why it was important to negate his Berserker with Rose, which Rose doesn't target to negate and come back, is because I was going to summon DPE. And the DPE allowed this card negates the Draco Berserker so that DPE doesn't get banished when I use its effect, basically. The other cool thing that like that makes Rose like really nice is that like it interacts really well with like Nibru. A lot of people forget that like Rose also triggers when you nib your opponent. And so like because I played 3 rows, it made it so that when I main deck nib, it was so much better. And you guys will see the hand trap ratios like pretty soon. But yeah, I want to open Skytraker monsters. Like literally, I would rather open Rose and Fusion Destiny all day. But anyways, 6 Skytraker monsters, and then here's my hand trap ratio. 3 nib, 3 effect veiler, 3 impermanence, and then 3 Ash Blossom. So basically I just wanted to play like hand traps that were really good. For those of you guys who are like kind of like skipping around the video, it's important to note that I actually played Go Second, and I actually didn't play a single Go Second card. So you might be wondering like, why did I do that? And basically the idea is that like Ray going second is like literally a +3. It does so much by itself, going second. But going first is Shizuku Pass, and I'll be honest, Shizuku Pass is like I don't know how Skytraker players like feel confident going Shizuku Pass. Like, and then if you make the argument that like, oh well, if I open Shizuku Pass with Takobo, I'm kind of lit. But bro, Takobo is not searchable. So like the idea was that like I wanted to play Go Second and just play like hand trap cards, and then use the engine of Skytraker to break the rest of the board after I lower their end board with hand traps. So that was kind of like the theory. Like I didn't need Go Second cards because hand traps are actually so good right now. So I would just hand trap my opponent. Their board is like cheeks, and then 1 Ray is like an FTK. Like, if you pass on a Cheeks board because of like cantraps, one Ray, one Rose is just crazy. And then the drawing six cards into any deck is actually just so broken, like right now. And like, I just rather get the full value of my Skytraker monsters. So I'd rather like go second, even if I didn't play any go second cards. Like, I didn't main deck Lightning Storm. I didn't main deck Evenly, none of that. Because also in my head was like, yo, if there's a top cut for like an event and I make top cut and they see me playing Striker, they're gonna make me go first. So, but a lot of people don't realize that. When I tell them go second, they think that I have like crazy Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler, all this good stuff, right? Well, that's not like, but that's not like, but like that, like I don't do that. So they make me go first, and like I have hand traps that makes it so I still survive. And like I said, Nib is like really, really good because of Rose. So, that's pretty much that. So 12 hand traps, not much to explain. And then for Skytraker Engine, one engage, don't really have to explain it. 3 Widow Anchor, 3 more Widow Anchor. So this is kind of like the spice in a way, because I haven't seen a single Skytraker list play Forbidden Chalice, but like I said, there's a lot of technical things you can do with Chalice, right? And it's as simple as using Chalice in damage step. A lot of people let Hayate attack go directly, and then when you attack directly with Hayate, one of the things you can do is Chalice another card. Chalice one of your opponent's card in damage step like DPE. Like, so I played the Striker Mirror. I went Hayate attack directly, damage step Chalice's DPE. And bro, my man's entire back row was turned off so fast, and his face dropped, bro. Like, it was just so broken. And he was like, yep, that's something you can do. And like that is like just crazy to me. And so like, it's also like one of those cards that you can use with Nibru. And it's also a card that you can use if you have to commit the normal summon to like a Rose. Because it's a card you can use when Rose is in the main monster zone. Right? So like, what I mean by this is like, if you're playing against a DPE deck and you normal summon Rose as your only Skytraker monster going second, you can normal Rose and they can go DPE and you can just chain Chalice. And I guess there's like the argument where like you could technically just go Widow first and then normal summon like the Rose. But the idea is that like, I just wanted something that's very versatile, that there's a lot of options, right? Because my opponent, like, it's gonna, like, when I go normal Rose into a DPE, they're gonna think like, they're gonna like they're just like bamboozled. They're like, bro, why did he do that? Why did he normal summon it? Like, does he have a way to beat this? So that's why like I just like this card a lot. Yeah, the other play was like, if you Chalice the Alistair, and like Nesh was the one who like kind of like told me about this, where if you Chalice Alistair, it goes to 1400 and they can't make Umraj with it after. So, yep. Pretty much, I'll just keep the spells out for you guys. But yeah, 6 Widow Anchors. I play Upstart. Cody signed this and sent this to me and I didn't even ask. Who asked? Omega Law. But anyways, Upstart Goblin. And then I play a Pot of Avarice. So, yo, I guess I kind of like showed this card earlier than I should have. But anyways, so instead of playing Pot of Prosperity, because the thing is, when you draw 6, I actually don't think you need Prosperity, and I actually don't really like the card. The idea was that I wanted to play a 39 card deck, and I wanted to play like a power 1 of, like Avarice. Like, it could be a second burner as well, and I'll show you why. But the idea was that like, if you hand trap your opponent once and you open Ray, Avarice is actually live. If you open double hand trap, like Ash Veiler, Avarice, normal summon, it's actually really insane. Also, one of the things that I thought was really cool was that like, if they out your DPE and you don't use DPE's effect, you can actually shuffle back your entire DPE engine and then resolve Fusion Destiny again. And like, this was one of those cards you can draw in the mid game that like just draws you 2 cards. But it was a one of because like I didn't want to draw it in my starting turn, but rather draw into it later as I'm grinding. So that's why it was a one of. Like, it's not searchable, obviously, but the thing is, if you play your Skytraker engine, you literally dump so many cards out of your deck, you thin your deck out so much, you search so much that like you know, if you can draw this because you're grinding, like turn 3 or 4 or 5, it's so powerful. Like, so powerful. I just wanted a bomb card just that I can resolve. Essentially, that's like pretty much like the main reason. So there's this. I played Roto, obviously. I want to max out my raise. I play the Hornet, which is another Skytraker name. And then let me put this to the side. I played a Shark. Only one. I see a lot of people play 2, but I think you only need 1. Because like the only time 2, like in theory you could play 2, but it's actually, this card's actually terrible going second. It's only a really good card when you're going when you're like maybe turn 3 or 4 in, when you have 3 spells. Like it's basically just like a very overrated DD Crow going second. So I only wanted to play 1 because I didn't want to draw it, but I want to search it when I need it. And the way that you use Shark Cannon, like against all the DPE decks, is that basically, if you guys didn't know, like a lot of people forget this, but Fusion Destiny makes it so that the monster summoned off Fusion Destiny dies at your opponent's next end phase. And the reason why that's so like important is because 1 Ray goes into Shizuku at end phase, and then DPE has to kill itself, and then you search Shark, you Shark their DPE, and then you multi-roll, set it back, and then draw phase before your DPE comes back, you Shark their Celestial, and then they have to bring back a Dasher. And that's why you don't need the 2 Shark because of multi-roll. The next card I played was Burner. I like this card a lot. This was a card that I actually thought about playing at 2, going second. Really like the card. Not much to say. I played multi-roll as well. Multi-roll is pretty good, but it's actually such a weird card because I actually wanted to cut multi-roll, but it's such a broken mechanic that I couldn't justify cutting it. And if I did cut it, I have to play a second Shark, so I just played multi-roll instead. But it was something I thought about cutting because it was one of those cards that like didn't really help your hand when you were bricking. So I don't know, like it obviously it was really broken for me. Like you use it right in the mirror, this card is broken. But yeah, I don't know, I kept it in obviously, but it was something that I thought about doing, but I don't know, I obviously didn't cut it, but it was something I thought about cutting just because like it was a card that like going second was just not that, it was just not that good. But then I played the terraforming package. I played terraforming, area 0, and then I played 1 mine. The thing with mine is that like I just wanted one of it, like I just wanted to have I guess 2 mines in the deck, 1 to search, and I wanted to play terraforming. So the thing was, I was originally playing 2 area 0, 1 terraforming, but then I was like I'll just choose to play 1 mine instead. So that's pretty much that. The reason, like, I don't even like mine that much. Like the thing was, bro, when I played against I think Walter, I Mystic mined him, but everyone main decks IO, so they eventually draw into their outs. So the thing is, you can't just like activate mine and just be like, yo, I'm gonna deck you out, Omega Law, GG, no re. The thing is, when they commit to back row, you actually have to start making a move, because the moment they flip up IO, you automatically lose on the next. So using mine is actually like, it's actually much harder than people think, because if you play it right and you know your opponent most likely has an IO in the main deck, especially when you play against like Sword Soul, or you play against like Sword Soul, like the Tri Brigade deck or something like that, like Pure Tri deck, like they might have a main deck IO, like, so you kind of have to like respect that, because if you don't, you just auto lose. Like if you guys watch I think I was watching a couple of DB Grinder replays while I was on like vacation, and a lot of people like that I saw activate mine was like, yo, GG, I'm gonna deck you out, and the dude just got like, literally he drew into IO in 4 turns and just IO'd him, and the dude had a way to actually play the game. So I actually, like, when I mine my opponent, I actually strategically think of ways to like play and actually kill my opponent, because the idea of mine is to not like deck your opponent out, at least like the way I play it, but rather to draw into like 6 cards, get your put cards in the graveyard that you need, and then like just basically kill your opponent. So that's how I've been using mine. And then I play triple Fusion Destiny and obviously the Destiny Hero package. Like I said, I'd rather see a Skytraker monster than Fusion Destiny, but this is a very nice backup plan. The reason is because Skytraker monsters don't lose to hand traps, but Fusion Destiny does. So you can see that I blind second without a single go second card, except maybe mine if you consider that. Just because the Skytraker engine is so much more potent when you go second. And the thing is, like, it's just because you go second, I think the misconception is that, oh, you need to just put in hella broken go second cards, but in reality, you don't actually need to. Like, I lost 5 dice rolls at this last tournament that I played in, and I've never been so happy to lose a dice roll. Of course, I told my opponent that I was like, damn, bro, it sucks losing another dice roll, but, you know, they all went first and thought they were safe. Bro, I think I cracked one Sword Soul player. I didn't open I opened only Nib, but he made Baron, Dragai, Shishao, Ash Blossom, and the trap card, and I actually broke the board and won the game. So like, there's actually a lot of really cool things you can do. But yeah, 40 cards, 39, I guess, with upstart. So that was the main deck. For the side deck, I guess I'll show the extra deck first, because the extra deck's slightly different too. I played triple Kagari, obviously, and then I played triple Ayate only because I couldn't find an access code. But I'll explain what I was playing instead. This was the one flex. Third Ayate never came up for obvious reasons. You actually don't need it. Like, the thing with your Skytraker links is you actually have to be, like, smart with how you use them, like, instead of just throwing them away. But yeah, 3 Shizuku, card's nice. 1 Zeke. I actually tested 2 Zeke, but I couldn't find 2 Zekes. I couldn't find my second Zeke, so I played the third Ayate. But in reality, I actually wanted to test the second Zeke. I played Kaina. This card is actually really broken, and a lot of people probably only knows this card for winning in time. But I actually use this card a lot to make it so my opponent can't attack. And there's a turn, like, there's a setup that I do with Hornet Drones with Kaina that makes it so that they can't actually attack over my my Anaconda, or like DP and threaten damage as well. Like, I actually really like this card. Like, I would summon this non-ironically to make it to make it so that my opponent cannot attack, and that's actually really, really important. So I really like this card. It was like really funny. People were asking me what kind of did, instead of like what, like, you know, I mean, besides the obvious gain life points. I thought that was like really funny. I played 1 Phoenix, Niirsu. So a lot of people play the Fiber Selene package, but I actually decided to play Phoenix and Niirsu. I think these cards are really good, and there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with these cards that you can't do with the Fiber Selene package. I like Nightmare Phoenix because it offers versatility in outing IO. It's also like a really cool way to like for example, if you have Hornet Drones going second into IO and you know your opponent probably has an IO, you hold your Hornet Drones, right? So, and what I mean by this, you would activate a spell, and like most players flip IO and like on the first spell, like they don't actually think about when to flip IO or when not to flip IO. Like, they just flip on the first spell. So like the way you play it is you activate any single spell. It doesn't even have to be an important one. They just activate IO right away, and you can chain Hornet Drones. Normal summon like a Skytraker monster. You can make Phoenix out it, and even if they have an Appaloosa, they have to negate it. But if you have, like, for example, like Rose, you can go like Nightmare Phoenix, pitch a card, target the IO. Even if they negate with Appaloosa, you can go Nightmare Phoenix attacking the Appaloosa, trigger Rose, bring it back, Rose into like a Kaina, and then make Niirsu to out like the IO still and still play the game. So like I said, there's a lot of really cool technical play you can do with like Phoenix, Rose, all that good stuff. So yeah, I like Niirsu and Phoenix a lot. Also, like, into like the bird matchup, the bird matchup, Niirsu is a card that lets you out the Simorgh Link 3, and that triggers. It's really important because freaking Simorgh is like low key like one of the most broken links I've seen in a while. That's actually seeing play. And Niirsu is 2500 that beats over the Simorgh, but it's also a card that can send itself and out the Simorgh link, which triggers, like I said, triggers Rose, bring itself back. So it's really, really important. So there's that. And then I played Anaconda and then Enforcer. Anaconda is just a crazy link too, to be honest. And because I played 3 rows, you actually get access to Anaconda going second more than other decks do. Because like I'm seeing Rose more often, which allows me to like, because the thing is Rose triggers to summon from the hand, which actually I'm thinking in one of my matches I actually chain blocked Bell on my Kagari, because I went like Kagari target engage and chain link 2 rows, so I chain blocked the bell, and it's so crazy because the bell, he actually belled my shark cannon afterwards, but I was like, yo, I can't, like, I got rewarded for playing around Ghost Bell, which was like actually feels good man moment. But yeah, so Anaconda DP, I was actually playing access code before, because I just couldn't find it, but I really like access code a lot. So I kind of want to play access code, but like I said, I was testing a second Zeke and access code. I was testing like those are like the main two, but there was like other stuff too.
You absolutely have helped me get so much confidence in this
Yeah.
game, and I just want you to know
no
that I
ego
greatly
booster,
appreciate
mainly
you this
because
month to
like
show
it's
you
a
my
terrible
support.
card going
Still, I'm
second.
busy doing
The only
college
time it
apps
comes
and
up is in the
essays,
mirror
but
match,
still
and the
just
only
wanted
other
to let
time
you
it
know
comes up
this.
again is when you have to like make Anaconda. Obviously you would have engage, you make Anaconda, search engage, search booster, and then you booster the Anaconda when you Anaconda effect, but that like never is actually like, that is actually never like needed, because you don't need to resolve Fusion Destiny to win the game. To be honest, like, you don't need to resolve Fusion Destiny to win a game, bro. There was actually in the Skytraker mirror in the finals, I actually baited my opponent into, I made Verte, so I had 2 spells in the graveyard. I made Verte, I use it to send Fusion Destiny to get 3 spells in the graveyard. He chaliced, he widow it. I'm like, yo, you're gonna widow it, right? And then he widow it, which I think is totally fine. And then I just activated engage, search Hornet Drones, draw a card, activate Hornet Drones, summon a token, make Shizuku, and then like I was still in a very good position. Yeah, I think Giant Quasar saw the game where I literally like baited him to like negate this just so I can keep playing. Like I think I made, no, it was like I made something and then made, yeah, this is what I did. I made Shizuku into the I think I made Shizuku, add back more pluses, had multi-roll set up, like it was just crazy. Kagari, add back engage, like it was just so broken. So like the fact that this card just sends a spell to get to 3 spells sometimes is just like actually really nice. And if you guys don't know, if Anaconda gets impermed, you're actually not under the restriction, so you actually can keep playing afterwards. Something to note. Anyways, some tokens. And then side deck, I played triple DD Crow, probably the most versatile hand trap right now that I don't see a lot of people playing for some reason. Like, this card is really crazy. It covers the bird matchup really well. It covers the PK matchup. It covers the mirror match. It just covers like 3 of the 5 meta decks I just named. So it's just really good. It covers the Alistair deck as well. Hitting the Alistair is really nice. If they like break a normal hand trap like Ash Blossom, make Almirage secured Garna, you just immediately Crow the Almirage to play around Maximus. Like, Crow's actually like very versatile. It's a really good card. I really like it. It's a hand trap that goes into the graveyard that makes Avarice like low-key a little bit better sometimes. So I like it a lot. Token Collector, I don't know how I felt about this card. I think it was like solid. It just covers the Source Soul matchup, but like I said, I've never been a fan of like trying to put in like Psycho Reader for like Dytron or like something like that, unless the deck is like tier 1, because it just depends on how lucky you are and how many matches you play against that type of deck. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the card was solid like overall because I played 4 Sword Soul, so obviously it was solid, but it's definitely something to consider. 3 Cosmic. I think it's really good in the mirror match, and it's also a card that like answers the Scythe Lock. It is really good into the PK matchup. It's one of the cards that answers IO as well, or anti-spell. So quick plays, Cosmic is really nice. And I guess for some spice, I played Mistaken Arrest, and I thought this card was like really insane, because when I play the bird matchup, which I think is the worst matchup for the Skytraker game, like, cause like in my testing, like the bird deck just kills Skystrikers. Like, it's just so broken what they do. What's up, Carl? Shout out to Carl in the chat. You guys know who he is. But Mistaken Arrest was a spice that I played that obviously, first of all, you guys have to use this correctly. If you read this card, it says until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand. So it actually turns off your Shizuku on the next turn. It turns off your engage on the next turn. So what does that mean? That means that when you activate Mistaken Arrest, and actually, like I said, I would lose game 1. I would lose game 1 and still go second game 2. That's how like crazy I am. And the thing is, like, you need a lot of like, bro, you need a lot of cojones, bro. I'm not gonna cap. Like, I will lose game 1, and these people would decide to go. They would decide to go second. They were like, "Yo, Pac just lost. He's tilted. Like, he's like, you know, his mental game's not there. He's tilted. Already lost game 1. He has to play game 2 now. I'm gonna side in all these blowout cards." And you know what I do? I tell them, "Yo, you can go first." After losing game 1, I make them go first after losing game 1, bro. And yo, they literally were like, they were sick. They were like, "What the?" Like, and then all their go second cards in their hand are so ass. And then one Ray, if you have a bad hand and I open Ray, you lost the game. No cap. The advantage you get off one Ray, and if you break going first because you have all those go second cards and I open Ray, you lost the game. I don't think I've ever lost when I open Ray going second and you open dog. It's just impossible. Like, you get so much advantage off the Ray, like literally +3, bro. It's so broken. So, and I would side Mistaken Arrest in going second, even to the Bird matchup, because they side in like Lightning Storm, evenly match, like Twin Twisters, everything, bro. And the thing is they can't even set the twin, because I can like easily like hit the Twin Twister. Like, there's ways to like bait it because I have DPE that like just kills it. So they can't even afford to set the twin, because if they do, they might lose to like DPE. So like, they have to hold all the cards in their hand, and even if they twin me on the next turn or try to Lightning Storm me, I just chain Mistaken Arrest and they pass turn again back to me. The most important technical thing you have to know about Mistaken Arrest is because your engage and your Shizuku is turned off on your next turn, because it's basically 2 turns. You have to basically like use Hayate to send the card you want to grab. Like, you can never get greedy with Hayate and try to send like engage. It never makes sense to. And then at end phase off Shizuku, you don't search engage. You search a Shark Cannon or a Widow Anchor, cards that answers the bird board. So the main reason, like I said before, is because of the fact that like you can't engage on your next turn when you activate this card. And so you would search a card you want, and then you could Gare it back, and that's how you gain a lot of advantage off the Mistaken Arrest. And then you can also add Hornet Drones, which is something that I was doing, because it allows you to make the because you can't search off Shizuku, then your thought process should be to basically make Kagari, add back the Hornet, and then make Anaconda. And Anaconda would actually just cook your opponent, because you can't search off Shizuku anyway, so might as well convert your cards into an Anaconda and try to pressure that way. So there's that. And the last 3 card I played was Evenly Match. I think this card could easily be Twin Twister as well. I didn't side this card in a lot, to be honest. Like I usually just won game 1, I went second game 2, and like I sometimes I wouldn't even side because the main deck was so good, to be honest. Like, and the thing with this deck that different from other Skytraker decks is that like it can go first. Like, I don't have a single go second card in my deck that it makes it so that I can actually go first. So that's why like I find it like really cool where like even if they make me go first afterwards, like it doesn't matter. And the other thing is, you might be wondering why I didn't play Takobo in my list, and I guess I'll finally explain the logic for why I didn't play Tisibu. Because you probably were like, "Yo, Pac, where's the Tisibu, bro? That's my favorite card in the game, Omega Law." And the reason is because, so Tisibu is 50-50. It's 50% of the time good going first. It's 50% of the time on the dice roll game 1, whether it's good, whether it's a break or actually a good card, right? Because if you go first, if you have to, first of all, if you play Tisibu in the main deck, you need to go first in Striker, which I think is like not good actually. I don't think it's good to go first in Striker because the 6 cards is always so much better, and Shizuku Pass is not a good end board. Like, I don't care what anyone says, bro. Shizuku Pass is not good. And so that's the first reason why I didn't want to play Takobo, because it makes it so that I have to play a go first Striker deck, which I don't like. The second thing was Takobo is only good in certain matchups. So like, for example, Takobo is good into the Bird deck, it's good into Sword Soul, right? So you have to, first of all, win the dice roll 50% of the time on average. You have to play a favored matchup where it's actually good, because, for example, if you play the mirror match and you have Takobo in your main deck, bro, every dead card in your hand in the mirror is like literally like the percent. Like, if you think about it like as a bar, like it's a higher percentage you're gonna lose the game when you have dead cards in your main deck. So much higher, bro. I think the Skytraker mirror I played game 1 in my against my opponent, he TCB'd me, and bro, I never felt so much happier when he flipped TCB instead of a Widow Anchor on my monster. I was like, yep, that's totally fine. And the thing is, when they T-Spoo you in the mirror, they actually lock themselves out of Engine anyways. So, like, the idea is that, like, it's a good card into certain matchups, but it's only good if you go first. And I don't want to go first. It's also only good in certain matchups, so even if you go first and you do open it, it's also 50% of the time not always a good card into a certain matchup. So I just didn't want to open. Like, for example, let's say you go first, you open to Kobo, and you play against the Alistair deck. You play against the Alistair deck. You're playing to and you open to Kobo, and then you have DP, bro. DP does nothing to Alistair. Does nothing to Alistair. To Kobo does nothing to Alistair. It's terrible in the mirror match, right? So if you think of like the top 5 decks, you're like there's like Invoke DP, there's like Skytraker, there's like PK, there's like Virtual World. I'm sorry, not Virtual World. There's like Sword Soul, which is basically what I call Virtual World. I call it Sword Soul Virtual World, but it doesn't break. And then you have like the Bird Up deck, right? And then the thing is, yeah, now the next question is like, Pack, but why didn't you side to Kobo? And so the reason why I didn't side to Kobo is it doesn't make sense to. Think about it. If I'm siding a continuous trap card to go first game 2, it kind of defeats the whole theory of what I was saying is I don't want to go first in Striker, but it also doesn't make sense when game 2 and 3s, they're siding in every back row removal against your deck. Bro, the Twin, the Lightning Storm, the Cosmics are all coming into your deck. Yo, you go first, and they put in like infinite back row removal. So Kobo is just like so bad. So I wanted, if I were to go first, I want chainables. Like I want cards that are chainables, like Sanctum, like Mistaken Arrest, like Share Right, something like that. Because like if I'm not maining it and I don't want to go first game 2 or 3 because they have infinite back row removal, then it makes no sense to like play it. And if you just set one, it's just not that good. So that's why I didn't even bother to side it, and I didn't even bother to main deck it. Yeah. I also didn't play Prosperity. I actually don't like Prosperity as much. Like I prefer to just play like this list with one upstart and one average. Like I think it was fine. The deck doesn't like break when you go second with 6 cards and you play triple rows. So and I didn't like banishing my extra deck for Prosperity. So I just didn't want to play it at all. So, like, low-key, this is a very budget list. I didn't play Access Code. I didn't play Prosperity. So, yep. You need more out to IO? No, that's not true. I literally got IO and I still won the game. Right? I have Niirsu, Phoenix. There's way to, like, outplay IO, bro. Like, every time I go second, my opponent has back row set. I literally look at my hand. The first thing I think of is how I beat IO. Literally. Like, so, like, the thing with IO is, yeah, it's a card I respect. But, like the thing is, there's ways to like still beat it. Like it's definitely like not that bad. Yeah. Also, Verte is basically also a Phoenix. Yeah, Verte is also a Phoenix because it makes DP, which pops IO. Like there's actually just so many ways to beat IO, than people give credit for sure. But yeah. So there's that. I mean, that's pretty much the deck I played today. Like, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this. Like I said, it's like very different list. Obviously, the core is gonna be the same, but I think the theory that went into this deck is like very different than what's out there. And I had a lot of fun with it. It was my 4th time playing Skytraker ever at a tournament. The first time was at Gamer's Choice, like not too long ago. Shout out to Gamer's Choice. And the second and third time was actually 2 days ago at Locals. And then today, I guess, was like more of like an important tournament because if you guys didn't know, having a 2-round bye at YCS is really broken because even if you go X2 at a YCS, it's actually not a topping record. It's not guaranteed. If you go X2 and they have 11 rounds, X2 is not guaranteed. I think 20 people bubbled the remote duel YCS with 11 rounds at X2. So, but if you have a X2, if you have 2 buys, it makes it so that you can actually top with X2 or be a very high X2 because of the 2-round buys. Because you gotta understand, the first 2 people you beat, more often than not, unless they're like a known player or like really solid, they literally like drop by round 4. So it kills your tiebreakers. It kills your tiebreakers really badly. So that's why like it was so important that I played this and like win, because like it makes it so you have a higher chance to like top as an X2 and gives you like a lot more leeway. But yeah, anyways guys, let me know your thoughts on the list below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.